Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for watching Digging Deep, and Happy New Year to all my subscribers. I appreciate you all that's been following along. Today, we have something special for you guys, something a little different other than chainsaws. This here is a 1993 Yamaha YZ80 engine, and yes, once again, we're going to do a project YZ80. In this video, we're just going to talk about what my plans are going to be with this engine. I've since learned a little bit about this engine thanks to the good old Eric Gore books that I've grabbed, all the years of research and development, and all the hard work that him and his team have put into these two-stroke performance modifications is in his books as he's hanging it up, and it's awesome that he put these books out there for guys like me and guys like you guys to get your hands on. And it's a plethora of knowledge in these books. It's awesome, man. But my plans are for this thing is just to get back here. We're actually going to pull some port timing numbers on this thing. We're going to talk about what we plan to do with this engine. It is a pretty powerful engine. It's a pretty good engine in its class. I think the Hondas were pretty good. These are pretty good. The RMs were good, especially out of the turns. Kawasaki, not a bad bike either. I think they're a little sluggish on the power band. But other than that, in this era, the most broadest power band was probably the Hondas. If you look at the dyno charts I'm going to put up here. But what I plan to do is just kind of go a little bit opposite what I did last time. Last time, I just kind of raised the exhaust roof on this thing, and I didn't know how peaky and how this made power. It really doesn't have anything down to low to mid range, and then it just explodes all up top. And it's kind of got a narrower power band, but not as narrow as like the KX. Again, I'll bring up these charts in this video so you guys can use those to reference the engines too. I think across the platform of all the engines in this era, they're around 19-20 horsepower. So yeah, let's get back here and look at this thing. I'm so excited. It's been sitting back here for some time. I bought it off a Facebook Marketplace deal for only 150 bucks. It came with this engine. Missing a few components here on the clutch side. I think this guy pretty much got it off another dude that rebuilt the engine, and they just stopped at that. And I saw it on Marketplace, and it was only 150 bucks, and it had the engine, frame, swing arm, forks, handlebars, front and rear wheel, and I think that was about it and the engine. And I was like, I'm running for this deal if I can get it, and I somehow got my hands on it. Now, I'm obviously not going to put that bike together. I think I'm going to try and find another blown up machine and probably swap out the engine, and then I'll have kind of two of everything, if that makes any sense. But guys, let's get back here and take a look at this thing. I got a really good deal. I knew he said that they rebuilt the engine, but I didn't know how far, and I think they went pretty far on this thing, which is very awesome. Let's get back here and take a look. All right, guys, before we jump in, we'll take a look here at the dyno graph that FMF Racing Inc. has put up here. This is just a before and after with the pipe. And if you take a look at the graph, the bike really makes its power between 10 and 11,000 RPM. So taking a look at the dyno graph here showing, it's a pretty narrow power band. So these things, just it's everything signs on at once, 10, 11,000, and then you got a little bit of over rev clean into about 12,500 RPM there. So this is basically what we're trying to do is just shift the power band back, shift the peak power curve back, and broaden the power curve up, hopefully. Here's a look at the CR80 dyno graph. And if you look at it closely, the power curve is much more broadened, making this bike have better low to mid range. Here's a look at the KX80, much like the YZ, but this is even peakier. And look at the little dips as you come up the power curve there. Not the greatest looking graph for the KX80. All right, last but not least is the RM80. Look how broad this power band is. This bike looks like it's very enjoyable to ride. That is a nice looking power curve. All right, guys, there she is on the timing wheel. I'm excited to get this project on. Cannot believe that we picked this up for 150 bucks. Brand new Wasco crank, brand new top end, not so crazy about the top end. That's why it's kind of cool. If I mess the cylinder up, no big deal. It's a niche top end and niche cylinder kit on here, which is fine. We're gonna run it, guys. And what we plan on doing is just this engine is just a peaky high RPM engine, and the low to mid range just sucks. It really does. I'm not that bad of a rider, and it is extremely hard out of tight turns to keep this thing screaming. Can you do it? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of the expert style riders can do it, no problem. But for somebody that's a decent rider, even the novice rider, I guarantee you'll be bogging this thing out a good bit unless you're ripping in a wide open area, which is much easier to obtain the power band. So basically, we're going to just go over the plans with the port timing numbers on this thing, which I think is going to surprise a lot of you guys. We're retarding the number. All we're doing is cutting the base. We're going to drop it down. We're going to retard those port timing numbers, and we're going to cut the head too. Gore just recommends 28 thousandths off the cylinder base and 28 thousandths off the head, and that will help this engine run much better. It'll be a lot better out of the turns that way, and you're basically just going to shift the power band back a little bit. He talks about the dual stage Boyson reeds to put in there as a good modification with this style engine, and that's basically all we're going to do. Try to find a whole nother bike and slap this engine in. This did come with a frame, forks, swing arm, front and rear wheel, all the brake assembly and all the calipers and stuff are on it, so that's kind of cool. Kind of like a roller with just the engine, no plastics, no harness, none of that. So I am trying to find a whole nother YZ80 bike, hopefully not too clapped out, but if it is, oh well, that'll be more of a project. Still shouldn't be too bad. I have eyed up a couple in my area. They've just been a little too far for me to want to drive several hours. So I'm hoping one by springtime will come up ready to throw this power plant in there. But it pretty much came without the clutch assembly case here, pressure plate, springs, and came just like that. Everything else is pretty much there. They had a brand new crank. All the work was done. And somehow I think this guy got a hold of it and then eventually just threw it up on Marketplace, and it was like a come get it deal. And I was like, I'm all over it for 150 bucks, you know. If anything, I could have parted it out and double or triple my money. You guys know that. But yeah, so I'm pulling a lot of this out of the Motocross and Off-Road Performance Handbook by Eric Gore. And he has in here, you know, the flaws are the low to mid-range power is just horrible on this thing. I experienced that myself. I probably made it just a little worse because the last one I did, I just took just a few thousandths off the exhaust roof and opened up the transfers and took out all the imperfections. And that thing was a monster up top. But to get there is just, I don't know, it was just, you had to work so hard. And then out here in these tight turns on our practice track, it was hard to ride. I have videos you can go back and look. You can see how the bike ran at 100%, was not tuned and dialed in 100% how it should have been. The bike ran good, but if you listen in the video and watch some of the footage, you can tell that the bike was rich and it could have been tuned a little better. And since then, I can tune two strokes a lot better. We're gaining more and more knowledge each and every day. Again, I pulled the numbers on this already, but maybe we'll go over and do that together here, guys. And pretty much that's what I'm going to do. I got a machine shop I called today. They're going to turn this base down for me and this head for me. And surprisingly, the price was pretty cheap. These guys are big engine builders. And I said, hey, will you do, you know, dirt bikes and ATVs? I don't think they really specialize in it or do too much of that, but they said no problem, bring it in. So I'm like, heck yeah. And they said they could get it back to me in just a few days. So that's awesome. Here's my cheat sheet from Eric Gore's book, and he just talks about the flaws, you know, being poor, low to mid-range. The fixes are just to drop the poor timing numbers, plain and simple, guys. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to polish the exhaust, do a little bit of exhaust work. We're not going to touch much in there. I have a few ideas, and once we get the port in this, I will show you guys. But the main thing is just going to be dropping the port timing numbers down. So my notes here, it says, although the YZ80 was a good expert style good for expert style riders due to the abundance of high RPM power band. It's good suspension. It has too little low to mid range, which we already talked about for most riders. Too much radical port timing and high gearing. So the problems are to problems with keeping up with other bikes out of their turns, like the RM80s in its class. So that's what I want. We want to make this a more friendly, rip into the power band, out of the turns kind of bike, and I am excited to do this and see how it turns out, guys. But basically that's it. The cylinder mods, more mid-range. We're going to turn down the base 28,000s, as I said, or 7mm. Remove the same amount from the head. This retards the port timing. Plus it's going to bump up the compression on this thing a little bit. Remember, your low to mid like your higher compressions. You can go up almost a point in compression with your low to mid range rippers and get a better turnout performance wise, guys. So without further ado, let's talk about the port timing numbers and set you guys up here and see what we get off this engine. How well you guys can see that, but we're setting it top dead center. And we're going to see what this exhaust roof is. I'm kind of looking at the screen here. It's going to be a little bit difficult. I'm kind of looking at the camera to see the first ray of light after top dead center. And right there, guys. Alright, guys, I'm going to have to look in here to see this first ray of light, because the camera screen's just too right there. And nice little smiley face almost on both sides. Let's see where we're at here. Alright, so this exhaust roof is setting at 86 degrees is what I got. Let's see if that's what we put down. I had 87 yesterday, and you know, it is like 86 and a half, so we're gonna go with 87. So pretty much pulled the same exhaust roof both times there. I did check both ways to make sure it's set on the same degree going both ways, just to make sure it was accurate, guys. So that, isn't that crazy? 87 exhaust roof, 87 degree exhaust roof on these things. These freaking two-stroke rippers with the expansion pipes, man, they have very high duration exhaust timing. And yeah, so that should give you guys some ideas that want to run expansion pipes on these chainsaws. They really make some power. Not ideal for work saws, I get it. But yeah, so that would put this thing at 186 exhaust duration. Isn't that crazy, guys? The transfers were at 114, and that leaves 27 degree blowdown. All right, guys, here's a chart of some port durations. If you jump all the way to the right there in yellow, the YZ80 is pretty similar to the numbers we pulled. We were a little bit less duration, being it was an 80 cc, and we minus the 20,000 base gasket. And then you got some KTM bikes here just to reference off of. Now, guys, this is all without the 20,000th base gasket, because I wanted to see where it landed and see if we had any contact issues with the head, which we shouldn't, and we don't. I don't have the gaskets on here either, so I just kind of wanted to, because we're going to be taking the 28,000s off that and that, so I knew the 20,000s will get me in the ballpark for my numbers. So that's what I wanted to see there, guys. And see if I can get you guys back in here again. There's not any way I can really show you guys what the let's see, the transfer timing is. It'd be cool to get a little pen camera or something, but yeah, so right there. So yep, 90. Let's see if we're 100. Yep, so right where I was, 114 on the transfers there, guys. So 90, 100, 110, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 114 on the transfers. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited. We are going to just drop the timing numbers on this thing. We're going to pull this cylinder off and start prepping it up on how I want to port this thing out. Don't mind the mess, guys. The poor grinder of mine, the cable snap. I got 2 of these cables in, so we're going to pop a cable in here, and we're going to start going to town on grinding this cylinder, guys. So there was the timing numbers on this old girl. That's kind of cool because I don't think I've ever done that like one other time. Mostly have only pulled my numbers on chainsaws. So very cool. We're just going to start tearing all this stuff off, guys. And I'm going to show you, we're going to crack into this thing, get this cylinder off, show you the flaws and the castings that you have even with brand new bikes. You can get in there and clean it up. A lot of the like KTMs and stuff, honestly, I don't know how much you should really even worry about messing with those other than doing a little bit of cleanup work, because those bikes, they already make like crazy good power, and as we all know, they are ahead of the game, making more power than, you know, all these Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki's. That's no secret there, guys. They're just making some power. And one thing you gotta weigh, like, you know, a lot of the older KTMs, from my experience, what I've read about and what I've seen, you know, the cranks like to go out of them. Whenever you're pushing a lot of power, especially high rev power, stuff's just not gonna last as long. I mean, plain and simple. So not really a big fan of the niche piston in this thing, guys. But like I say, this cylinder, you know, I can get another one if I mess this up, and I shouldn't. I mean, I'm having another machine shop. Well, you know, do the work. Of course, I don't do machine work really. I do not have a lathe. I plan on getting one soon, guys. I've been searching around, and I might just go with the Harbor Freight one. I'm not sure yet, but go ahead and pull this cylinder head off too, guys, while it's mounted to the case. And this cylinder's got a little damage from when it blew up the last time. I don't know whether there's a little detonation or whatever. I obviously didn't see the piston, but it's not bad. I've had worse than that. We'll clean that up. They probably should have cleaned that up a little better when they put this engine together. Looks like they did a pretty good job from what I can see. Pressure test is going to be the telltale sign for that. Hopefully they don't have any leaks around the case or anything like that, because that will suck. Ain't nothing but a thing, guys, if we got to split the cases. So I've already taken the ring off. Come in here and take a look at this, guys. I couldn't believe it. I was really beside myself. Brand new Wisco crank in there. That's what I put in the last bike. So I'm super psyched. It looks like they did a pretty good job on sealing. I might clean a little bit of that up in the case there, but it looks like they did a really good job. This thing has not been fired off yet. Good cross hatchings, and we're gonna just get in this cylinder seat right there. Trying to get this where you guys can see it a little bit right there. You know, you always got imperfections and stuff, and I think we're gonna polish this thing, polish this exhaust out too. We're gonna thin this side of that bridge there a little bit, and open that up and widen it a little bit. We're not doing anything to the outer portion. We might fade into widen it just a little bit, because there is a little bit of room within those transfers there. We don't want to end up coming through one of the transfer walls. And when I say widen it, it's just going to be a little bit, just a little touch up into the chrome plating. Obviously not do anything with the exhaust roof, because we're lowering the timing numbers. Here's the top view. Try to get my light in there so you guys can see that better. right in those lower transfers there. See, look at that. They're just casting imperfections when these things are made. They're, you know, all through down there. We'll clean all that up. Definitely clean all that up. We're not hogging it out, guys. We're achieving low to mid-range power. So we're not hogging these transfers out. We're not going to touch the upper transfers other than clean that up too. So I'm going to do all the port work I want to do to this thing before I send it out to get to 28 thousandths, cut off this cylinder here. So we're going to get it back here and start grinding away, guys. And of course, we're going to get this cut down. And I'll worry about cleaning this up once I get it back. All right, guys, I apologize. I got my face mask on, and I know that you could probably not see this the greatest. This is the best I can do for light. So at first, we're going to target these big casting knots right here, whatever you want to call it. Guys, it's been a while since I ran this thing. It's been broken for a little while. We're not getting crazy. Yeah, I just realized I didn't have my safety glasses on. I always wear safety glasses, guys. So yeah, we already got that roughed into where that's already gone just about right now. Gonna come all the way up in here. This is a pretty good cylinder. You can just tell. I'd have to say, from my experience, even with the 2001 CR, that these cylinders, you know, just look like they're just a little bit better quality. Could be wrong. That's just my opinion. I know you can't see this too much, guys. But there was another one of those casting imperfections here. If anybody's interested in my Amazon flex shaft, I'll drop a link. This is the 780 watt version. There's different ones. Haven't had many problems other than snapping that cable. I got a spare cable in now, so we should be ready. We should be good to go for a while. I've used the snot out of this thing. There's a look, guys. Got rid of that one there. If you can see, there's another one right down in there. We're gonna target now. Now, I could have did the port work once I got it back. It doesn't make much difference to me. I'm not taking it down to them until probably next week sometime. And I'd rather just have it done. That way when I get it back, we're ready to slap this engine together. I'm going to try to target buying I'm sorry for the mask being on my face, but I'm going to try to target to get a bike much sooner than spring. But spring is my goal to have this thing up and going, guys. Yeah, we're not thinning this out, really. We don't want the transfers fogged out. But we are gonna just try to make some little bit better flow characteristics here. You gotta think that fuel's being pressurized. An engine's a vacuum pump. That fuel's being pressurized, and it's not all about like
how big the transfers are. A lot of time it's transfer shape and transfer flow. And I'm just opening this right there just a little bit. It's a little bit more flow characteristics coming out of the case right up through here, guys. Alright guys, so here's a look at this side roughed in compared to this side. You can see the casting flaw sticks out pretty good there, and if you look down in there you can see all the little casting imperfections. You want to start doing this stuff, that's what you do. Just get yourself a grinder and clean all that up. Will it make a big difference? Probably not, but it will make the engine run more efficient, obviously, right? It's all about air, fuel, flow characteristics, efficiency of getting up into the combustion chamber there. Gore didn't put much about the boost port in there. I'm sure there's little things like you just know what to do, but you know, he probably targets the most important things to do. But we are going to work at this boost port here a little bit. And I think we are going to just barely widen this exhaust up just a little bit. Just a little bit, guys. So, just wanted to show you guys that. I'm going to jump over to this side off camera, work on this, and we'll be back. Alright, guys. I think the lower transfers are pretty good. We're going to attack this boost port here a little bit. Nothing crazy, guys. We're just cleaning it up. That's right. Now, it might be a few thousand larger when we're done, but not really doing a whole lot. Oop, jumped out of there a little bit. Just got to make sure these bits don't catch her. You'll bend them in a second. Yes, you will. You can see the casting imperfection there. We can go at that a little bit harder. When I clean it up, usually I find some stuff I want to hit again. So usually like a rough in, and then it'll be a clean up, and then say, oh, I can make that a little better, you know. It should take you some time to do this, guys. It's not something you want to rush. Something you want to just take your time. All these little things will add up. That's not too bad. You got to be careful. You don't want to nick the sill up here. We're just gonna go slow. If you guys can even see that or not. I'm just gonna work into this boost port here a little bit on the sides. We're not going crazy. I can't quite get the angle I want to get that where I really would like to. If I had a ball, if I put a ball on the end of this, it'll probably would probably get that. I might have to do that, guys. All right, rough in on the boost port. Not bad, much better. I know you guys can't see it too well. Much better than what it was. And we see, if you can see, you got a little line here, but I can't get the tilt I want. Can't get the tilt I want. Now if I put a ball on the end of this, I have like a ball burr bit, and I bet that would get in there. So we'll come back and do that. Guys, we're gonna start targeting the most fun part, the exhaust here. All right, guys, we've been pulling a towel on the exhaust here. Got our little mandrel out. Gonna work on polishing this thing up. We're getting there, guys. As you can see, I kind of bladed that, opened up this inner exterior of this exhaust. And we're getting there. It's a process. It's definitely a process, guys. All right, guys, there's a rough end on the exhaust. Not too bad. We got to clean it up a little bit, wash it out, and then we'll look in there again, and then we'll really focus on coming down on sand grit. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Can't complain there. All the imperfections are gone out of the transfers, boost port. Open the exterior of the exhaust, and it's just a matter of polishing it down, polishing that exhaust. This will be ready to be sent out and be machined. All right, ladies and gents, here we are with the finished product of the YZ80 port job. If you have a look in here, now guys, keep in mind, I could make this even more like a mirror-like finish, but I only want the 600 grit there, and that's what it looks like. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. If you look in here closely, you can see that this bridge, I bladed that coming in, so it comes more to like a bladed portion. It's just opening up the exhaust. We widened the exhaust ever so slightly, just a few thousandths into the nickel seal. We barely widened the exhaust. We'll have a look at the transfers here. Here's the look at the lower transfers. We took out pretty much all the imperfections there. We open up the boost port. If you look in here too, you can see that I did a little boost port work. I didn't change the timing on it, but we cleaned it all up and opened it up ever so slightly. You look in there, you can still see a casting imperfection, but my bits kept wanting to get caught up on it in there, so I just kind of left that alone. But we did open it up a few thousandths, and she's ready to be sent out, guys. So we're gonna send this out to my dudes that are gonna cut the base, cut the cylinder head, 28 thousandths off, and we'll be back in the next video of probably just bolting this up, putting it together. I'm gonna get a gasket kit for it, and we'll bolt it up and pull timing numbers again, see where we ended up. This will probably be several series of videos coming down the pike. Probably be several weeks out or so before we come back with another YZ video, but we definitely will be back with some more videos. I'm going to clean up the case to this engine a little bit in between all this work getting done, and maybe even paint the side cover that has a lot of boot wear on it just to make it look a little bit better, guys. But anyhow, thanks for watching Digging Deep. If you're new to the channel, please help out the channel. Jump in there, smash the subscribe button, drop a comment. Let me know, have you had a YZ80? Let me know what your experience was like riding the bike, running the bike.
And guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.